Hi everyone. So today I was doing snow removal. We're all done. So I decided that I was going to move forward with my little project that I am doing with the tanks here behind me. I'll step around the camera here. This is a 40-gallon tank. Right now there's 3 Amanos and I think there's 4 of these guys. 4 or 5. Panagaras. Look at the color on this one. It's just amazing. I'm thinking I have a male in this tank. If you look at it, if you sit still long enough, you can see these creatures are so cool to watch, and they do not harm you shrimp. You should always keep several in a tank. They play. And like I said, there's some Amano in there. This tank has been running for, I'd say, 2.5 to 3 months. It's been cycled a long time. I'm waiting for shrimp. They're not in yet. So I popped in some Amanos. I took this log out and sprayed it with, sorry about the water, I'm not cleaning the tanks till I'm finished, with hydrogen peroxide to kill the algae that was growing on it. I hope it doesn't become an issue. And I have a whole bunch of petite Anubis floating around up in there that is going on this log. So that is today. And I'm putting the overflow in. So this is a 20-gallon pump, or tank, sorry. And right now the only filtration it gets is the gravel and the plants, as it has a inline water pump on a stack that is drawn through this gravel down here on this side. So right now it's connected to a hose, and there's a spray bar across there. Well, that spray bar is going up here. And I'm installing an overflow from this corner, because again, the filtration is down at this end, the water comes in this end, swirls around and goes out this end. So the overflow is going in this corner, and there'll be a pipe that goes across the back, all the way back to this end, and then back into the tank in that back corner. So I'm installing that today. And I'll take you out into the living room where I've got all the pieces laid out, and we'll just have a look-see. So I have all the pieces laid out here on my coffee table, nice size coffee table. I will be covering it before I start gluing. And I do have the proper glue for the proper plastic, so that's important. This I believe it was PVC, CPVC 4120. So CPVC requires a special glue, because how these glues work with your plumbing, these plastic pipes and stuff, is it's not actually a glue. What it does is it softens the plastic, and the plastic fuses together and creates a seal. Same thing with ABS glue. On ABS, you have to use ABS glue. Now, I decided to go with ABS because the size was handy. I needed 2 inches. The CPVC is 3/4 inch. The feed into my tank is 1/2 inch. Now, you understand that creates a larger exit for the water than the pump is pushing in. I wanted to be sure that this worked. So the PVC is only 3/4 inch, yet the ABS is 2 inch, which gives it a larger bowl for the water to go through to the bottom of the pipe. And you'll understand after I get this together. I'll demonstrate everything. And you need 2 inch caps, a short piece, a T, and a fitting that goes in the T that is threaded to take the adapter for the PCV valve that threads. You put tape on here and thread this in there. Okay, and then you go up the line. This pipe is this long because of how low my other tank is. So when I put this together, this line comes out even with the top of my tank. Then you go, here is a street elbow. You want the street elbow. Unless you have a super wide lip on your tank. And you cut a hole in the top so this fits in. And it doesn't have to be a perfect hole as long as that will slide in to the top of this unit. Because you do the same thing on here. Glue these together. And this piece is cut to fit so it slides in easy. This big chunk of foam here I cut from a 110 Aqua Clear filter kit. I couldn't find the foam that I wanted, but this is what I came up with. And it goes over top of this pipe, so it sits just below here. And this open area is up past the water and up past these holes, so shrimp can't get down in here. I'm going to have to possibly put a lid on this. And then this has to be cut so it goes past this point. Because if it doesn't, you won't be able to prime this pump. Every time you lift it up and out of the water, it will drain this side. So you have to have this pipe cut longer than this point. I went a little extra long. There's a big plant that it goes behind, so I'm not worried about it going down. And as far as I'm concerned, this is going to grow with moss and stuff, and yeah, I'm not worried about it. And another cap. Okay, this cap you do not have to glue. It's inside the tank. This you do not have to glue. This, yeah, well, you don't have to glue this either, but I'm going to. This all has to be glued, all of this, because it's outside your tank. Okay? This has to be glued so you don't lose your prime, because this is actually your siphon. These are the fittings that go on the end for the aquarium, and I'm actually going to glue one of these on. These can all be taken off and cleaned and added to and changed. So there you have it. I'm going to put it all together, and I'll be right back and show you what it looks like when it's together. So I can't remember how I was holding the phone. I hope I'm not doing this upside down now. But here, I'll find out soon enough. Here is the, it's all glued together and ready to go in, the overflow. See, I've put Teflon tape on here. This piece is glued. These are not glued, and that's how that little sponge filter sits over, so there's a space. You can see the holes aren't blocked. But I may have to put a lid on that, I'm not sure. And this is all glued together now. Right? Because this sits outside the tank. And our siphon is glued together. And I'm just going to slide these two pieces together here and show you how easy that slides in and how easy this pump is to prime. So I'm going to set you down for a quick second here. Okay, now this is going to be tricky because I'm doing it one-handed. I don't have any help here with me today. So there it is together. What I'm holding on to goes inside the tank. And this is your siphon. Slides in there like that. to shut this pump off, but you would lose your siphon if you had to do it in a hurry. All you have to do is lift that out and it would empty and the siphon would stop. This does not get water above the level of the aquarium, and this above the level of that fitting. So I've moved my heater because that's where I wanted the sump to go, and yeah, now am I going to be able to do this one-handed? So you have to make sure both pieces have water in them. So first off, you can fill this one. It's easier with two hands. All right. And then you fill this one. And basically what you do is, without taking it out of the water, you slide that one into the top of this one. Okay, now I'm going to do that, but I have to let the phone go to do it, and then I'll grab the phone again. Sorry. As you can see, I'm working on this place, and I haven't picked out a light fixture for this room yet. And that is in. It's that easy. Okay, so how am I going to hold on to this now? Okay. Alright, so now what you do is keep it over the tank and just pick it up and turn it this way. Okay, and your siphon is made. You hook it on the back of your tank and put your line in. In this setup, I have to put my line on this first. So again, I'm going to put the phone down to put my line on. Now you don't have to use a solid line. I am. So I'll show you what it looks like. Again, I hope I'm not taking the phone upside down. I believe it was this way. So the line is connected. The elbow isn't on down there yet. I'm going to put that on after because this is the first time and I'm not sure exactly where it's got to be. So I'm going to set this over the back of the tank and down in behind. And the siphon is connected. So I'm going to set you down again. So I'm just going to hook this piece down here so it keeps that pipe elevated. Actually, this piece over there. And then I have to glue this together. So this goes in here with glue, and this I put glue in and shove on the end of the pipe down there, and that takes me inside the tank. And from this point on, it doesn't have to be glued. I'm almost got this set up, and we'll have it running here very shortly. I'm going to pause instead of getting jittery. So, I'm nervous now. It's all in. Give you a quick shot. For now, I just put the one corner. Those last two pieces are not glued because they're inside the tank. So they're adjustable. I can turn it down, turn it up, turn it down, put an elbow on it, whatever I want to do. Line goes across the back and is threaded into here. This pump is primed and ready to go. And now we plug it in and see if this tank overflows this tank. Alright, I'm going to bend down here and plug the pump in. There we go. I have this line here above the water on one end because I need a check valve in here. If the hydro goes out, you don't want the water siphoning back into the 20, create a mess. So I have it above water on one end of the spray bar for the time being. In case the hydro goes out, it'll lose its prime. Now, we'll see what happens as the water level goes up. You can't really, we know they're not blocked, but you can't really see the holes after this fitting went on. It's not going to take much to seal that, for caution's sakes. So, what do we got there? We got a 1/4 inch. Hopefully it starts running. Okay, we have an issue. I'll be back. So I do have a couple of suggestions. I did get it working. It's ready. I haven't got it plugged in yet. I just want to go over the suggestions first. The first one is I lost my prime when I was putting that line on. So I would highly recommend having a join between the two tanks here, so that line is not so long, because I just primed the pump with the line in it, but I was hitting the ceiling at the end of the line. So if you have a join here with a check valve, with a shutoff valve, so a shutoff valve there and a connection here, so you can disconnect this and shut this off. There should be a shutoff on that anyways for maintenance. Check valve on this line, so the water doesn't go back when the hydro goes out and this pump stops working, because you're going to want this under the water because you use CO2 in here in this system. So I'm going to plug it in and hope that we got it figured out. So pump is running. And we have flow. So there's my water level. So it's about a 1/2 inch below the rim. Alright, that's perfect. The water is above the rim and there's no light coming through. Awesome. And that level will stay at that level. Whereas over here, this is the tank you'll need to top up. So I have to top this tank up, and you know, it may change. Oh look, there's a little bit of air coming through there. It will be underwater. I'm going to put an elbow on there. But I left it high just so you could see it running. There we have it. It's running. So this 20-gallon tank, like my quartz, I collect it. The pink quartz inside the aquarium. White quartz outside right now. That's more landscaping. Got a moss wall on the end here that I made. Look at that flow. You see that flow back there? That's a nice flow. I like it. So that water comes into the tank. I'll start at the beginning. I'll start at the water pump. So I have a water pump down here. This is for like I think it's 100 gallon or 90 gallon pump. I have to check the paperwork. It has shut-off valves on it. Comes up, and there's a inline CO2 dispenser on that line, and it feeds into the tank. Out goes up a pipe back here. See that pipe right there? To the hook, and back to the pump. So this is siphoning through the gravel, and our water level is still sitting at a 1/2 inch. So this is working. This is awesome. I'm so happy. And there you have it. And I got a nice plant in front of it. When this plant fills out, you'll not even see that in there. And if you so desire, you can take this end apart to be able to clean it, but you would lose your siphon. That is so cool. I'm ready for my shrimp. I've been ready for weeks. Plants are coming along nice in here. I'm going to get a dark background and put across the back on this tank. And I'm just going to keep putting plants in here. I got to fill in that whole back with that plant. I got a bunch of petite hostas I just bought. I got enough to do this entire tree here. I'm going to do that later. I'll take a picture and post it. This is my first sump pump. I'm proud. Sorry. I gotta show you. This happened to me 3 days before Christmas. 110 gallon tank at the foot of my bed. And it was full of baby shrimp. Oh my god. Dozens and dozens and dozens of shrimp I've saved out of this tank. There's probably still lots in there, but I got to get this tank out of my room. It's getting depressing. I'm going to get a 90 gallon to put on here. That was caused from somebody jacking the house. I did say there was an aquarium right above their heads, but you know, like, the thing about it is it's a 110 gallon tank and it's a really deep tank. So I might have to take my mirror and get it cut again, and I'll put a 90 in there. It's not 4 o'clock yet, so my lights haven't came on yet in my tanks. But there's my 90. I have a 75 gallon tank right now just holding plants. I use this tank actually for a quarantine tank. But I'm big into the hobby, so I always have plants that I sell them locally. I sell my shrimp locally. This is a really cool idea. So I bought these little feeder things, thought they were really awesome. I bought them on Amazon and they're absolutely useless for feeding. So what I did was I wrapped a piece of styrofoam around, thin styrofoam, jammed it up under the lip, sits there, it floats, and I filled it full of Christmas moss. So that Christmas moss will grow out and over the edges of this floating island, and the shrimp love it, as you can see. There's a couple up there right now. I have something similar. I don't know if you can see it without the light on. In the back of my, yeah, there it is. It's rough looking because it's never been trimmed, but it's growing out nice. So almost ready for a trimming. And you can do whatever shape you want. Teardrop, a heart, whatever. It's tied to a fishing line. There's a big chunk of foam inside it. And a big round river stone back there that stands on its end, and the shrimp crawl all over. It's really cool. I like it. So there we are. Tell me your thoughts. I'm thinking blue shrimp. I just keep neocardinas. I got cherries in my other 2 tanks in the living room. There's actually some in at 75. There's Amanos in here. I think you just saw one swimming around there. There he is back there. There's 3 of them in this tank and 2 in the other. Keep on shrimping, everybody. Awesome hobby. I love it. Been doing it for years. Later.